You know, for all the fun I've had across the last 3 Alola games, I've finally hit my limit and am really feeling text box fatigue. These games have so many cutscenes! Consider yourselves lucky that I'm giving you the abridged version. Besides the knowledge that we're done with Alola after this, the only thing that could make me feel better about this slog would be a perfect leg. Let's make it happen, Andrea. That's right, we're going with Poplio this time, conveniently leaving Rowlet unbanned for future use. Sorry Litten, but how sets you up for failure in your first battle? And once all the preamble is out of the way and the leg starts, please make note that we see Fico and Soliera and Ultramoon, we catch Woody the Pikipek on Route 1 and power up quickly for our festival battle against Hau. Hau's Pichu might have the advantage against Andrea, but that means literally nothing if it's 2-hit KO'd. Litten going down immediately afterwards is a given too. With momentum on our side, we speed right into school and successfully catch Trickster the Zorua. Some more powering up ensues and we challenge Teacher Emily to battle. Thanks to Woody's power, Emily's Rowlet is light work, opening up the way to Hau'oli City. Oh, right. See these stickers? I completely glossed over them last time because I didn't pick any of them up, but if we collect enough of these, we can add a Pokemon to the roster. Don't forget about them, it'll come up later. Promise. Team Skull continues to be a non-issue as Woody tears through Zubat straight to our Elima battle. Luck is on our side big time as we crit Young Goose with Rock Smash on turn 1 and pick the KO up after being leered at. I pivot into Trickster when Smeargle is sent out, using Leer once before sending Andrea out next. Water Gun does about a third, and Andrea's presence tricks Smeargle into using Leafage as I send Woody out to finish the battle. We find and catch Float the Drifloon at the cemetery as we work our way towards the first trial, beating up some fodder to lure the Totem Raticate out. Armed with Brick Break, Woody no-diffs the Totem and Andrea cleans the ally up for the win. The Verdant Cavern's last gift to us is Wiggs the Diglett as we move on to our first battle with the Ultra Recon squad. It's Soliera that battles us instead of Dulce, but the Furfru's the same, meaning float solos. Once they leave, we add Cardi the Smoochum to the squad as padding till we find a suitable party member. When Hau challenges us to battle on Route 3, Andrea bodies Litten, Wig actually sees some use against Pikachu, and Cardi one-shots Noibat for the win, leaving us free to prepare for the Grand Trial. Once Woody evolves, our victory is assured. The battle starts with Woody getting worked up and Machop focusing its energy. Pluck is an Oko immediately afterwards. Makuhita fakes Woody out, delaying the inevitable Pluck Oko. Pluck misses the mark by a hair against Crabrawler, who answers in kind with an all-out pummeling. Woody manages to live with 1 HP to spare and works through Hollis Heal to finish Crabrawler off for the win! A cinematic fight to leave Melee Island behind for good. What better falling action to call on than the abuse of Mantine Surf for BP? Once that's done with, Cardi gets us started in battle with Cena. Her Smoochum can't handle our freshly learned Signal Beam, and Glaceon goes down shortly afterwards, leading to Andrea's evolution into Brionne. It's smooth sailing all the way to Paniola Town next for another battle with Hau. Torracat is doused by Andrea after putting up a decent fight. Wig, Cardi, and Trickster have to team up to deal with Pikachu, and Trickster debuffs Noibat with some fake tears before I send Andrea back out to get the KO. Woody then brick breaks Eevee for the win. The trek towards the next trial powers the team up some more, and we're quickly in battle with Gladion next. Cardi outspeeds Zorua and nails it with Signal Beam. Even if I didn't already know, Forewarn revealing Feint Attack is a great way to confirm the truth. I send Wig out to slow Zubat down with Tangling Hair, and then double into Andrea. We stack some uses of Echoed Voice up as we take Zubat down to ensure we can outpace and ultimately overwhelm type Null for the win. Call me out if I'm wrong, but it feels like I've been on some real big brain shit since starting the 3DS titles. Anyway, trial time. I fear that the Totem Araquanid stands no chance against Woody. We use Pluck to steal its Wakan Berry, and then use Supersonic Sky Strike to finish the spider off, despite the ally Masquerade's Intimidate. We're paralyzed in exchange, but it only serves to delay the inevitable win. Since we didn't find anything eligible for capture before the trial, I head back into Brooklet Hill and add Ikari the Poliwag to the squad. Padding out the roster with water types ahead of the Deadly Fire trial makes the most sense right now, especially in favor of preserving the Diglett line for later. Our second battle with Soliera is over almost as quickly as it began on our journey through to the Wella Volcano Park. Once there, we find and add Talon the Fletchling to the team, immediately putting him to work to evolve into Fletchender. I also decide to head back to Paniola, fishing up Namazu the Barboach. You didn't do so hot last time we tried you, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Once everyone's as ready as can be, we get the trial started. I lead with Ikari, but rely on Trickster and Talon to see us safely reach the Totem Marowak. Ikari then starts the battle by making it rain, wasting Marowak's Detect. Salazzle and Marowak then beat the brakes off Ikari as we put the Totem to sleep with a crucial Hypnosis. With a job well done, Andrea takes over, using a rain-boosted Hydro Vortex to OHKO Marowak. One last Water Pulse takes Salazzle down for the win. Namazu ended up serving no purpose again, but for a completely different reason this time. The best that we managed to find and catch on Route 8 is go for the Yungoos as we approach the Lush Jungle for another trial. Straight to the reserves you go. It goes without saying, but the water types are going to be warming the bench as we get into battle with Lurantis. Woody goes first, using Flame Charge to speed up after eating a Solar Blade. Supersonic Sky Strike is fired off first on the next turn, taking the Totem down before things got out of hand. The allied Kecleon that was called in does big damage to Woody and Talon, but since it's normal type, my water types are free to join in. Ikari and Namazu each take their turn to varying degrees of success before Trickster finishes the battle with a well-placed hidden power. With the jungle open for an encounter now, we quickly add Lady Legasus the Steenie to the squad. I end up cycling through a few members of the team, hoping to lock in some mainstays as we progress. I catch and consider Fisticuffs the Crabrawler, caught during a backtrack to Melee Melee's Route 3, and even Optorix the Archon, revived at the Dream Park. Thankfully, we still have tons of game to cover and find better options. For now, let's focus on our battle with Plumeria, up next on the agenda. Trickster barely manages some fake tears before I'm forced to switch, sending Andrea out. Bumblebee manages to seal the deal after taking way too much damage. Salandit then outpaces Woody, so I send Namazu out to finish the battle. One of our worst Plumeria battles ever. The team continues to grow ahead of our grand trial, and Woody evolves into Toucanon. As a flying type though, no shot he participates in an eventual battle with Olivia. Namazu answers the call instead, using Aqua Tail to OHKO Anorith to start. Lady Legacy sets up Light Screen as Lillie peppers in damage, and Fisticuffs takes over, using Power Up Punch and Brick Break to KO. Lycanroc is then dropped last by Brick Break for the win. Just before meeting with Faba, I add Warwick the Sandygast to the squad, caught on Hano Beach. He spends some time getting up to speed, and then leads the charge when we jump Nihilego. Now on Ula Ula Island, it's time for another battle with Hao. Andrea hits Torracat hard with Hydro Vortex, and Leafeon enters in its place. Woody takes over and uses Beak Blast to get the KO. Probably the first time I've ever used that attack. Alolan Raichu fails to hit Warwick on the switch-in, and then uses Psychic to no avail against Trickster, disguised as Fisticuffs. Interesting that the AI never changes their approach despite the move failing. Up next, House Tauros also fails to touch Warwick at first, but proves to be a real threat as we attempt to put it to sleep. Once we manage, Fisticuffs is able to enter safely and get the KO with Brick Break. Andrea then returns to the battlefield and defeats Noibat for the win. It was a close call though. As we explore Malie City, we find our 50th sticker. Told you not to forget about him. I decide to head over to Professor Oak and cash them in, adding Plumeria the Salazzle to the team as a Heya Heya Beach encounter. Her speedy firepower is a very welcome addition to the team. And the great additions to the team continue as we luck out and add Avro the Skarmory to the team on Route 10. From here it's all training until we're ready to tackle the next trial, evolving Trickster into Zoroark and Lady Legacy into Serena. Warwick continues to make the most of his typing, seeing us through to the Totem Togedemaru with ease. Thanks to Iron Defense, neither Togedemaru nor Skarmory can put a dent in Warwick. And for good measure, Chesto Resto strats bring Warwick back to full health, enabling him to chip away Togedemaru enough for Plumeria to clean up safely. Not as quick of a win as last time, but equally big-brained in my opinion. Our scrap with Guzma and Malie Garden doesn't take nearly as long afterwards. Avro chunks Golisopod and sets up spikes while Masquerain tries to hurt us, then Plumeria burns Masquerain to a crisp, leaving Golisopod to fall to spikes on entry. Aside from Andrea's evolution into Primarina, the lead up to our next trial is uneventful. As for the trial itself, well, A disguised Trickster steals Mimikyu's Lumberry and breaks its disguise, enabling Plumeria's Toxic to start the stall. Avro speeds the process up with some Iron Heads, and thanks to some strategic pivoting, no one falls before the battle is won. All in all, pretty uneventful as well. Our final mid-game tussle against Team Skull starts with Plumeria. Warwick makes pretty light work of Golbat, but Salazzle packs a bit too much of a punch for our team to outpace. It falls on Andrea to take over, coming incredibly close to falling before Hydro Vortex finishes Salazzle off. We forge ahead to Potown and get straight into a battle with Guzma next. Avro launches a Supersonic Sky Strike right off rip for some massive damage on Golisopod, then sets spikes up as Pinsir struggles to make headway. Roost keeps Avro's HP up as we chip away at and eventually drop Pinsir. The spikes and Iron Head finish Golisopod off on re-entry, and Masquerain falls without issue for the win. Lillie's kidnapping forces us into battle with Gladion next. Trickster does decent damage with foul play, but Golbat's acrobatics is hitting way too hard. I pivot to Avro, who sets up the ever-useful spikes, and then finish Golbat off with Iron Head. Gladion's own Zoroark nearly takes Avro down as I try to stay healthy with Roost, ultimately staying healthy enough to get the KO. The real type nulls Crush Claws, dealing hefty damage to just about everyone on the team, forcing Warwick to take over. Pursuit is doing a fair bit of damage, but the sheer bulkiness of our sandcastle is enough to lead to our victory and Warwick's evolution into Palisand. The team gets a spot of training in ahead of our next grand trial against Old Man Nanu. Andrea is the obvious lead here, using Moonblast to take Sableye, Krokorok, and Persian down with ease, and the rampage continues into our raid on Aether Paradise. Trickster takes Hypno out with a couple of foul play in our first scuffle with Faba, and the way is easily cleared to our second battle against the shitty Branch Chief. Andrea and House Raichu work together to take Gladion out, and Andrea goes overboard with Sparkling Aria next, dropping Claydol, Pupitar, and Raichu. My bad, bro. Trickster and Leafeon tag team Hypno and Bruxish right afterwards for the win. No disguise is necessary. I let Plumeria lead against Guzma, looking to sweep faster than Avro did before. Inferno Overdrive is a clean OHKO on Golisopod to start, and Flamethrower torches Pinsir, Vikavolt, and Masquerain for the win. Exactly as expected. Soliera's Poipole is up next in the list of roadblocks, but Warwick is able to safely take it out with the power of the earth. Finally, it's time to battle Lusamine. Lady Legacy starts the battle against Clefable by landing a Trop Kick, then uses Light Screen. U-turn into Plumeria gives her the chance to safely power up with Nasty Plot. At +4, nothing should stand in her way. Clefable and Milotic fall to Sludge Bomb, and Flamethrower drops Beware. Lopunny is actually faster than Plumeria. Uh-oh. Wait, why did she use Fire Punch? Oh well, no complaints here. Flamethrower finishes it, and Lilligant off for the win. At this point, it feels like the game is giving me plot armor. I'll take it as we tear through our list of things to do ahead of the next trial though, speeding straight into our Pony Island battle with Soliera. Things play out exactly the same way as they did on Aether Paradise, and I managed to keep the entire party appropriately leveled as we head through the canyon to the trial. Andrea paves the way to the totem Komo-o, and takes the lead there too. By using Psych Up and a Citrus Berry, we're able to copy all of the totem's boosts, and stay healthy enough to land a powerful Moonblast. Avro then takes over, using Supersonic Sky Strike to finish the totem off. Noivern isn't much of a threat on its own, and Warwick is able to take it out for the win. One flute song later and the plot is kicked into high gear. Trickster disguised as Plumeria proves to be the ultimate counter to Necrozma, using Shadow Ball to take it out completely uncontested. Just like How did before, Necrozma will not try anything else if it sees a super effective hit, even if it fails. And even when it goes Ultra, Necrozma's game plan does not change. Thanks to that though, neither does mine. Psych Up copies the Omni Boost, and 2 Foul Play are all it takes to quell Necrozma's rampage. In what might be the latest addition to a team yet in this challenge, Fico the Poipole joins us, taking Trickster's place. Dude earned the rest for soloing Necrozma. I also just wanted to use an Ultra Beast. I literally won't ever get the chance to after this. Mina's trial is quickly underway next. Plumeria gets the ball rolling by taking care of Mina's Mawile and Granbull, and it takes the combined effort of Avro and Warwick to beat Rabombi for the win. I've learned my lesson about speedy Pokemon thanks to Lusamine's Lopunny, and I'm not about to test my plot armor twice, in case you were wondering why I didn't leave Plumeria in. Lady Legacy leads against Ilima's Gumshoos, setting up Reflect and pivoting into Plumeria with U-turn. She's able to finish Gumshoos off and defeat Smeargle easily, leaving Komala for last. Warwick nullifies its Breakneck Blitz and works together with Avro to take it out for the win. Lady Legacy gets to lead again as we battle Lana this time, setting up Reflect and getting the KO with U-turn against Lantern. As I pivot into Plumeria, Lana sends out Araquanid. I'm forced to double switch into Andrea in order to tank Hydro Vortex, and Andrea just barely manages to take the Spider out. Plumeria then takes over against Cloyster, who only uses Spikes as I take it out for the win. Kiawe's up next, and Andrea takes point. Arcanine is easily dealt with, but it takes the efforts of Warwick and Avro to defeat Talonflame. Like an absolute psychopath, I bank on Avro's Bulk after a Roost to tank Marowak's Inferno Overdrive. Burning through the Z move makes it safe for Andrea to return and end the battle though. Hiker David's Magmar manages to tank Sparkling Aria thanks to Sunny Day, forcing Plumeria to take over for the safe KO there. We end up skipping a battle with Sophocles in this one, and battle Nanu instead. Andrea simply repeats her Grand Trial performance and uses Moonblast a bunch for the win. The team then powers up ahead of our battle against the Totem Rabombi. The Totem outspeeds us on turn 1, but uses Bug Buzz on its only chance to stop Plumeria. Acid Downpour packs more than enough of a punch to OHKO the Totem, earning us the win before an ally is even called. We speed straight into our final Grand Trial with Hapu next. Lady Legacy starts us off strong, using Power Whip to OHKO Golurk. Andrea nullifies Flygon's Dragon Breath on the switch-in, then tanks Earth Power before getting the Moonblast OHKO. Just to play it safe, I pivot into Avro as Mudsdale send out and end up nullifying Tectonic Rage. Andrea returns to the field to get the KO with Sparkling Aria, leaving Gastrodon for last. Lady Legacy's Power Whips it into submission, securing us our final Z Crystal, and the right to head to Mount Lanakeela's summit. Before we can make our ascent, Gladion issues his final challenge of the run. Warwick defeats Crobat to start, and Andrea sees through Zoroark's disguise to take it out with Moonblast. Plumeria handles the Grass-type Silvally with Sludge Bomb and Flamethrower, and uses Flamethrower one last time to take out the real Lucario. The climb and the grind are quickly underway, leading to another Necrozma capture and Fico's evolution into Naganadel. Such a cool design. We didn't get to see this because our starter was boxed in Ultra Sun, but Andrea steps out and shares a moment with us in anticipation of the final gauntlet. Really cute addition to the games. We're as ready as we're going to be and still deathless, so there's nothing left to do but try. First up is Kahili. Fico starts the battle off by using Nasty Plot, nullifying Braviary's Scary Face with a White Herb. Big brain. Thunderbolt OHKOs the entire team immediately afterwards, facing some minor resistance from Hawlucha along the way. Warwick is the best lead we've had thus far for our next opponent, Molayne. Klefki starts its prankster shenanigans with Spikes, but doesn't get far as Earth Power OHKOs. Bisharp hits pretty hard with Night Slash next, but also feels the Earth's power. Dugtrio might be able to deal enough to finish Warwick off here, so I pivot to Avro next, freely applying our Spikes. I pivot into Plumeria and Lady Legacy, successfully baiting out a Corkscrew Crash for Avro to tank. Avro is able to outpace Dugtrio, but right before we can secure the KO, Molayne pivots into Magnezone. I switch into Warwick to tank the obvious Thunderbolt, then send Plumeria out to KO with Flamethrower. Dugtrio falls to our Spikes on re-entry, and Metagross is sent out and Scorched for the win. Avro leads as we battle Olivia next, setting up some crucial spikes before taking Armaldo down. Lady Legacy takes massive damage from Gigalith's Stone Edge, forcing a quick pivot to Warwick. Olivia heals it up, but Warwick still manages to make short work of the Gigalith, leading into Cradily. I pivot to Avro and manage to get the KO after Cradily applies Stealth Rock, and Lycanroc is sent out next. I use a Roost the same turn it fails a counter, and then we go Z-move for Z-move. Continental Crush is easily tanked, but Lycanroc doesn't do nearly as well with Corkscrew Crash. Warwick then uses Earth Power a couple of times to overwhelm Probopass for the win. Everyone's favorite Ghost Girl is finally up to bat as we start our fourth battle. Plumeria sets up Nasty Plot essentially for free as Banette uses Screech. Flamethrower is an easy OHKO right after. The Ace Palisand is immediately sent out afterwards, but a +2 Inferno Overdrive turns it into glass. It's smooth sailing from there with a Flamethrower Oko on Delmise, Frostlass, and Driftblim, in spite of the confusion Frostlass managed to apply before melting. One more battle to go, and Alola will be behind us. Bring it on, Hao. Warwick gets us off to a great start with an Oko on Raichu, and Salazzle keeps things going with an Oko on Crabominable. Lady Legacy takes way too much damage from Tauros' Double Edge, so I change my approach and send Avro out. Tauros continues to Double Edge in vain as I set up spikes and stay healthy with Roost, but it's Warwick that ultimately gets the KO. Leafeon's Leaf Blade is shrugged off by Fico next, who gets the KO with Sludge Wave. Avro dodges Earthquake and baits an Inferno Overdrive for Fico to tank, then Andrea takes over to get the KO with Sparkling Aria. With Andrea's massive special bulk, Noivern is unable to stop Moonblast from connecting for the win! Ha! In your face, Alola! You really had me worried in Pokemon Sun, but I'd say I more than made up for it by the end of our run here. With our sexiest team yet, Ultra Moon has been perfectly cleared. Seriously. I know the ban list limited our options, but the team had no business being this hot. The Popplio, Bounsweet, Sandygast, Salandit, Poipole lines, and Skarmory all joined the ban list ahead of our 6th run through Kanto, and the first run on the Nintendo Switch. Next time.